Aloha, I'm Lyla Berg, and we're here at the Battleship Missouri Memorial, ready to converse with the people who inform, inspire, and impact our daily lives. Thank you for joining us on Island Focus.
We're on the main deck, on the bow of the Battleship Missouri. You can see the guns behind us. Those are the most prominent feature of the ship. But Missouri, as you know, was the last battleship ever launched in the world, the last battleship decommissioned in the world. Our mission is to preserve this ship, and you can see a lot of that, in the work that's going on in the superstructure right now. A lot of the work that we're doing to preserve the ship you can't see, because it's under the water over here. The hull integrity, of course, is the main thing for us, and we're concerned about the hull not only rusting from the outside in, but from the inside out. So a lot of the work that we do is unseen to the public, but still very, very important.
It's amazing that this is still afloat.
Well, it's been afloat for almost 75 years. The 75th anniversary of the launching of the ship will actually occur in January of 2019, and we're looking forward to having as many people come out and visit us during that time as possible.
It's amazing,
Each one of those guns is 120 tons and could fire a 2,500-pound round 26 miles. So it could hit my house out in Hawaii Kai from right here.
We have a wonderful opportunity to speak with Lynne Waihee today, and she is the president of Read to Me. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
So, as an educator and a mom and a community activist, community citizen, this reading program has meant a lot to you over the years.
Well, it has. It's interesting how several decisions in your life can just absolutely change the way that,
shift the course of your life, right?
Yes. So it's been kind of an exciting journey because as we went through, it started off with being on the Governor's Council for Literacy, and during the last 2 years of my husband's term, we began to look at what did we really want to accomplish in those last 2 years. And we decided that we wanted to do work along the lines of children's literacy. Before that, it was a lot of trying to get adults who couldn't read and trying to see how they could get into programs so that they would be able to learn how to read. And then at some point, we thought, why not raise readers rather than trying to see, what can we do to...
We're trying to fix.
Yes, yeah. And this way, if we raise readers, then it wouldn't be a problem. So that's the way I think we approached it, and that's how Read to Me was born. So Read to Me in 1992 was an attempt to get the message out there that it is so important to read aloud to your child. If you read aloud to your child will go to school ready to learn. If every parent, every caregiver were to read aloud to children. So that's how we got started.
But I know it to be true about you too. It's about building the relationships between parents and children and the connections. Yeah. And you've had many different projects under the banner of Read to Me over the years.
When we first started out, it was just about getting the word out. So we just went to a lot of schools, preschools, and community organizations to talk about why reading aloud is so important and why it's critical that parents read aloud to their children. From the time you bring your baby home from the hospital, you can even be reading in utero. So, that's how we approached it. But over time, besides doing those presentations, we managed to do a prison literacy project where inmates could read stories, and we would provide all the books, and then they would read the story aloud. Then we would send the tape and assigned they could write something in the book, and we'd send both the book and
sweet.
and
to their families, their children.
Yes, and for a number of them, it was the first time that they began communicating with their child, because up to that point, you know, it was they're there. They're not part of the child's everyday life. But when this program started, some of them had never, you know, there was one young man who hadn't talked to his father. He was so ashamed of his father, you know. But when the book came, for the first time, he asked, "Mom, is that Dad? I want to talk to him." And that's how the communication started, through a book and the father taking the time to send a book and a tape to his son.
And now your program, not only Read to Me, has evolved into writing stories as well.
Yes. So over at the Women's Community Correctional Center, they are actually writing their own stories, illustrating their own stories, and then we have them published, and they get to send that book home to their child along with the tape, a reading of the story.
Well, you've made a lot of sense in encouraging our listeners to read to each other, not only to children, but to each other as well. One parting thought about reading and about connections.
I think that books bind us together, and when we do it in the formative years, then as the child gets older, you have this connection where hopefully you still have conversations that you can have with children. So, you know, it's not something when they get into their teen years and, you know, everything is about me, you know, and you kind of get forced out of their lives. No, we want this conversation to continue. And what better way than through books where you can discuss what you've read. And
we could read to each other as well.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for taking a little bit of time with us.
Thank you.
We've been conversing with Lynne Waihee, who is the president of Read to Me, nonprofit organization here in Hawaii. Thank you. Mahalo for tuning in to Island Focus and joining me in conversing with Mike Carr, who is the president and CEO of the Battleship Missouri Memorial. Sounds like a wonderful place to work.
Well, it is, and thanks for having Ōlelo here today.
This Battleship Memorial means more than just a memory.
Well, it is, actually. It's many things to many people. Our mission is to preserve the Battleship Missouri and to share her story and place in history. It's simple, easy to remember, but that mission statement encompasses an awful lot. Over 600,000 visitors every year. We've welcomed, since we started keeping records, over 100,000 school children. We have as many as 1,000 military ceremonies every year. The ship is the preferred venue for retirements and change of commands and re-enlistments. You know, it's through our education programs and those ceremonies that we try and be as much of a resource to the local community that we can. But this is really an incredible place with a lot of things happening.
And you've been here for 10 years. That's
I have,
a long time
yes.
to be in one position.
But it doesn't seem like 10 years, actually. The time has gone by very, very quickly. There's just, you know, so much happening and so much that will be happening in the not too distant future for us as an organization.
I know a little bit about your background and how history is very important to you, but working here, it's more than history.
Well, I'm a history nut. If you come to my office, you'll see it lined with history books. But, you know, the greatest joy for me is, you know, all of our staff here who are as dedicated and love this ship just as much as I do, and share that love and their knowledge with all of our visitors. Having my office on the ship gives me the opportunity several times during the day to get out from in front of my computer and come out and walk around and converse with our visitors and talk to our staff and, you know, just look at all the projects that we have going on, which I think we'll talk a little bit more about this afternoon when we walk around.
And the location of the battleship close to the Arizona Memorial is significant.
It's very significant and on purpose. We're 500 yards away from the Arizona Memorial off my shoulder here, and symbolically the bow of the ship and the Missouri are watching out over the 1,000 men who are entombed inside the Arizona wreckage. And for visitors that come to the ship, it's an emotional connection with actual real historic events that affected Hawaii, affected the world. The beginning of the war was right there, where the war ended was right here, and there's very, very few places in this country where you can come and actually get that kind of visceral, emotional connection with history. And most people don't really understand that when they get here, but I hope that by the time they leave, they do understand.
Well, I can truly appreciate when you say you come out from behind your computer and be able to walk on deck and talk with people, because the view from here is beautiful.
Pearl Harbor is a magical place. We get to host many events here during the day and at night, and the venue. I love coming early in the morning, as we were talking earlier, and coming in the morning when the harbor is so peaceful and quiet. It's really a magical, mystical place, and it's one of my joys every day.
One special message that you'd like to have the audience understand about the Missouri?
Missouri is one of the most important historic artifacts in the history of our country. It belongs to all the people of the United States. This, particularly for your audience, this is not just a place for, visitors from off the island to come, or for you to send, auntie and uncles, when they're coming and visiting to get, rid of them for a day. This is a place for all the people of Hawaii to come and enjoy.
Well, we'll look forward to learning a little bit more about the Missouri soon.
I'll look forward to it.
Thanks for joining us. We've been conversing with Mike Carr, President and CEO of the Battleship Missouri Memorial. With us on Island Focus today is Honolulu Council member Brandon ELEFANTE. Thank you for being with us, and you as well. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, Lyla. It's an honor to be here on this historic USS Battleship Missouri.
But we are on the dock, which is actually part of your area.
Yes, it is. So I represent the communities of Aiea, Pro City, and Waipahu. It's communities that I grew up in Aiea, and currently live in Pro City and graduated from Aiea High School, and it really brings me an honor and joy to serve the people of the city and county of Honolulu in the council district that I was raised in.
Did you major in political science, and so it kind of tickled your fancy, or history?
Actually, I didn't. I majored in economics and business, yet I was always actively involved in volunteer groups from a young age, to high school, to college, to even beyond that. And how I got involved in the city councils, working for former council member Harimoto, and then got elected to serve that open seat for Council District 8.
So with all due respect to your generation, what is it about the role you have now that really motivates you to wake up in the morning?
It excites me every day. It's really an important role. It's a role that I hold a lot of value and honor, because I am a decision maker and making policy choices and representing 100,000 people and making choices for our island community that's over 1 million people each day. And waking up in the morning, it excites me to know that I can make a difference, a positive impact. I didn't want to be one of those folks sitting at home not being able to have an active role and participate in government. And so that's why I chose to run for office. And it's been over 3 years, and it brings me great joy every day knowing that I can make that positive impact.
And it must be kind of exciting to drive by these historic places and know that you are part of making decisions.
Yes, it is. And one gem that we have in our backyard, in our city and county of Honolulu, is the Pearl Harbor Historic Trail. And in working with the Navy, we're able to clean up a lot of the efforts around near Blaisdell Park and partner with different groups. It is really a world-class trail, and if you haven't gone out there, I highly encourage you to take a stroll down there, get on a bike or walk along the trail, and you see all these historic sites, and even the memorial and the Battleship Missouri and Pearl Harbor, which has so much rich history, as well as an ancient Hawaiian fish pond and native Hawaiian history around the area. It's so very beautiful, and I think it's a world-class destination that will attract many people for years to come.
You know, those of us who live in East Oʻahu rarely come out this way because we have our own mountains, but you have these beautiful slopes here and these trails, as you said.
Yes, we do. I mean, you can see it right here, from in our backyard where we're filming here today, and it's really beautiful and very historic, very rich in history. I mean, even from the times of it being an old plantation town to how we transitioned to a community, to how we're now growing in a community. We're building rail. The first 10 miles is already in this area. So it's really important to integrate those communities and still preserve that rich history for this area.
What is one special, significant event that's happened that you will always remember?
Just being able to be one of the youngest members on the council and being able to have the impact of passing 5 bills that I introduced and signed into law by Mayor Kirk Caldwell this year. And it covers all ranges from distracted pedestrians, from banning you using your cell phone while you're crossing the street.
You're the one
I'm the
that's
guy.
responsible.
That's made international buzz. So that
Good for
and
you.
then AEDs in all city buildings, in newly constructed buildings, so banning plastic bags. So those are just a few things that I'm very grateful for that we now have in our city and county of Honolulu.
Well, we certainly need your energy and enthusiasm and your youth. Thank you for being there.
Thank you.
We've been conversing with Honolulu Council member Brandon ELEFANTE. Thank you for being with us.
We're on the surrender deck where World War II ended on September 2nd, 1945. Lyla, I could talk for hours about everything that happened in that 22-minute event because everything was filled with symbolism and meaning. But this is one of the primary reasons why people come and visit the ship. The event that occurred on that day really changed the character of this ship because this ship became from being an instrument of war to a symbol of peace. And that peace symbol is one that has lasted with us forever and one that we carry forever. But so many incredible individuals were involved that day. Of course, everybody knows General MacArthur and Skinny Wainwright and Percival that he gave the first 2 pens to. Number 6 is Bull Halsey, who was the admiral of the fleet. Number 9 was Joe Stilwell, who had dealt with Chiang Kai-shek in China. 16 was Jimmy Doolittle. Number 20 is Shigemitsu, who was the foreign minister of Japan, who represented the government of Japan. And we've established contact with his family, and they've actually given us some of his artifacts that we will be able to display when we have the 75th anniversary of this event in a couple of years.
Amazing.
It is. Well, it holds great symbolism and meaning to the world even today, because from this day forward, Japan and the United States became allies and are today some of the strongest allies that we have.
Today on Island Focus, we have the pleasure of talking with NORIKO NAMIKI, who is the CEO of the YWCA Oʻahu. Thank you for taking your time.
Oh, thank you so much, Lyla.
Please explain to us a little bit more about the Y.
Sure. So currently, YWCA Oʻahu runs a variety of programs and services across 3 locations. First location is our historic building called Laniakea, which is on Richard Street, across the street from Iolani Palace.
Cafe Julia.
Exactly. And then the second one is in Makiki. It's a women's transitional housing called Fernhurst. There we run 2 programs, mainly to help women coming out of incarceration. And the third location is in Kaneohe. It's an 11-acre waterfront, beautiful camping retreat site called Kokokahi.
And that's where they have gymnastics and all kinds of wonderful programs too,
We used to
right?
do that. Right now we have a very robust aquatics program and also camp activities.
So the YWCA, Young Women's Christian
Right.
Association, is specifically dedicated to the development of women.
Exactly. So we provide different programs and services. Let's say our focus could be like a leadership development, or those who want to start and grow business. We can support you. We also have women, whether coming out of different life challenges, whether women, like I said, women coming out of incarceration, women who survive domestic violence, sexual assault, or physical abuse, or women who lost jobs due to illness. Or sometimes, we help women, whether through programs like Dress with Success, women who are trying to land employment for the first time in their entire life after their divorce.
So was women's studies your focus in college?
Actually, it wasn't. My focus was journalism. So I wanted to be a journalist. So I worked in television news for the majority of my adult life.
And did you grow up here in Hawaii?
I was born and raised in Tokyo.
So you bring an amazing, not only cultural background, but also professional background to this position.
People often ask me, how did you make that switch from television news to nonprofit? But it really works for me, actually. It makes sense to me because now it's about telling the story. Telling people's life stories. So all the training in my broadcast journalism, it's really helping me. And also what I studied in graduate school, which was social work. So for me, it's really kind of like a full circle right now.
So if I were to ask you what is the story of the YWCA, how could you snapshot that in just a moment?
Wow, if I can also inject, even my personal story, because YWCA really helps me grow. It really helped me grow as a woman because I didn't expect to become a CEO, never. When this opportunity was given to me, I hesitated. I said no. But YWCA is the place where women can seek opportunities and then really see the potential for their future. And if you want to do it, we can help you. And I feel like I'm the living example of how our mission work, it can help women.
Well, and your programs are not just for women in transition. There's for children, they're for teenagers. There's many different opportunities.
Absolutely. With the aquatics programs, at Kokokahi in Kaneohe, we have a very special program called Adaptive Swim. And we've been running the program for almost 20 years. And that is specifically designed for students, children with some severe impairment and disabilities. And once you see them in the water, it's wonderful. I think they feel like free. And so that's one program we have for children. We also have a leadership conference for high school women. So twice a year, we hold what looks like a business conference. So we start a day with the breakfast, morning breakfast, keynote speaker, breakout sessions, lunchtime networking, and then also we have mentorship. So that they kind of get to see what it is like to attend a conference when they grow up.
High school kids.
Exactly. But also help them see their potential as leaders.
Well, we appreciate your leadership and your enthusiasm and certainly sending the message that women are capable and lovable.
I totally agree with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've been chatting with NORIKO NAMIKI, who is the CEO of the YWCA Oʻahu. Thank you for being with us. I'm here at the Battleship Missouri Memorial with Juan Williams, who's the Director of Youth Challenge Program here in Hawaii. Thank you for being with us. And you as well, how generous of you to spend some time with us.
And thank you so much for affording us the opportunity to share with you today.
I know you love the program that you run.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us a little bit
my life.
about it?
The Youth Challenge Program is an alternative program for youth that's drop out of high school within the age of 16 to 18 years old. We're very fortunate in the state of Hawaii. We have two programs. We have one located here in the island of Oʻahu, and then we have one that is located in Hilo. The Youth Challenge Program is a program that was established nationwide in 1993. And in Hawaii, of course, it was established in 1994, the one in Oʻahu. In Hilo was established in 2010. Both programs are geared off for a total of 200 bed space per cycle, which is 5.5 months.
So students reside there as well?
Yes, it's a residential program. The residential phase of the program is 5.5 months, followed by post-residential phase of the program, which is 12 months, where we go out and continue maintaining a mentorship with the cadets, where we ensure that they finish up the post-residential, which means placement. And part of that, of course, is military service that they choose to, job force, and further education.
What I love so much when I meet your students, is that they're not only polite and respectful, but they all have a sense of themselves.
Oh, absolutely. My staff and I, we can see that progress in the cadets when it comes to the program. You know, the first couple of weeks, it's no confidence, you know. It's a little bit of low self-esteem. And in the 5.5 months, we see how that grow into the positive person that they become prior to graduation and beyond.
You're so successful at creating a sense of community and family. You know, I really admire that challenge because many of these kids come in not even knowing where they belong in the world.
Absolutely. And you know, it's unfortunate. Our kids that come to our program, of course, they're being referral, sometimes self-referral, but a lot of referred through the partner education. You know, these are kids that cannot or does not want to go to traditional school, so they come to our program, and you know, 5.5 months, you can actually observe that transformation.
They're called failures, right, in the regular school system,
Failure,
or troublemakers.
Troublemaker, does not adapt and cannot control themselves, you know, does not play well with other youths of their age. But, you know, once they come to the Youth Challenge program, you know, one of our motto there is to make sure that, you know, they get that structure that they need. And throughout that structure, that's what assists them in doing that transformation.
So if you could just snapshot the one thing that actually allows them to change who they are or to evolve who they are.
Very easy. We build that confidence in a cadet when they come to the program. And not only by building this confidence, we provide mentorship. You know, my staff and I, it's a 24 hours facility. The cadets know that we support them 100%. And in that case of supporting them 100%, they build that confidence that, hey, I can do anything I want to.
It's the power of love, right?
Power of love, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to give us a snapshot of your program. And I look forward to speaking with you in the future.
Absolutely, and mahalo for affording us again today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're here at the Battleship Missouri Memorial chatting with Juan Williams, who's the director of Hawaii's Youth Challenge Program. Thanks for joining us. Mahalo to the Battleship Missouri Memorial for hosting us today, and for you for tuning in to Island Focus. I'm Lyla Berg. Aloha and malama pono. Take care of each other. See you soon.